one.
Yeah, sorry it took me so long.
Are you kidding me? It didn't take long at all. Ah, that's so funny. That's so funny. I knew your boyfriend would come back. Brian got off early, and I just sent him. I said, "Hey, your boyfriend's on live. Get over here." He's at a friend's house. He's like trying to draw boundaries with me. He's trying to draw boundaries.
Brian's at a friend's house?
Yeah, he's at a friend's house. Well, I'm using that term loosely. I don't know. I don't believe he has any real friends. They were making fun of your hair a little bit today on the Bella complex. Like your hair was I couldn't believe that they didn't make fun of it more, but Chase made some comments, like called it a coif or something.
Boy, they're really running out of things to pick on me for, hey? They're really digging deep now. All right.
Because you're doing too good. You're doing too good.
Chase spends a little too much time on his hair, so I'm not going to take that.
My wife said you support a headband.
You know what? I just don't like. I get claustrophobic in a headband. I don't want to wear it.
Oh wow, Pat, what's your Instagram? I want to put your name in here, right?
It's just at P Vellner.
And is it 2 L's?
Yeah.
How's
one
that
for every
look?
silver medal.
I got a question for you. Is there less? So there's arguably better athletes than at the games. Shorter event, less places to hide, and a shit ton of money. But yet you guys might possibly be having more fun. Is that true? Where am I wrong in my thinking? Or if I'm right, tell me, how do you guys do that?
What were your 4 things again?
A shit ton of money.
So, right. Less events, better
less
athletes.
Events, tougher competition, less places to hide, but
right.
possibly more fun. You guys we were arguing and thinking that you guys might be more relaxed.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting competition this year because it's so much more money than it has been in the past. So it's kind of hard to ignore that. But it is a fun event. Rogue does a great job. It's a little more intimate. Like having only 20 men and 20 women, it kind of is a little easier, a little more fun. Our briefings last like 15 minutes. Like it's quite easy to navigate. They program fun events. They do some cool stuff. Like it's like
think
a mini
tomorrow
games,
morning.
just less fun.
You think the first event tomorrow morning is going to be fun?
Man, I think there's going to be a lot of people who don't get a lot of sleep tonight thinking about that workout all night. It's going to be short, as the only saving grace. You can white knuckle it for 3 minutes and you'll be all right. But
how similar is it to that snatch workout from the games?
Wait, refresh me. Is that John? You were just telling me about that. That's Echo Bike Thruster.
Yeah, or thruster.
Okay.
Thruster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say
Sorry, Pat.
Significantly more anaerobic than the snatch bike workout from the games.
Some more pain.
Yeah, it's a lot more power output. I think you have to push the bike significantly harder, and you can't breathe as well in thrusters as you can in a light snatch. I mean, most people muscle snatch at the game, and you breathe quite easily. So it's significantly less breathing and a harder effort on the bike that's sustained and not broken up. So, I mean, I would guess the fastest bike athletes, I don't know if you do. I don't really look at wattage. I mostly look at RPMs because they hold steadier. But I would say people will be aiming at like 90 plus RPMs to try to hold throughout the bike. The best biking athletes. And then your first 20 thrusters are not really relevant. And then your bike is very relevant, particularly the last 20 calories if you can sustain it. And then the last set of thrusters, I think everybody just hangs on. And you'll probably see a few people collapse. And like have
That's
to
what I said a couple days ago.
Last set of thrusters would be my guess. I don't know.
You have to go for it. And if you get 16 or 17 and you have to drop it, so be it. You pick it up after 2 breaths and do the last 3.
I think it's a workout that has such small margins. I mean, you look at event 1 today. Actually, event 1 today was a bit surprising how wide the disparity was. But you'd have people finishing 4 minutes apart, right? Not just like you're going to see everybody finish in a 30-second window for sure.
Right.
Or something similar. So it's just times will stack up and seconds will be precious. So I think people just have to really kind of rock and roll. Like I said, you got to white knuckle it and just go for it. And just trust that you'll be able to kind of hang on at the end when you have to. And if you can't, you drop it and you get back on it fast. So
Are you at a restaurant, Pat?
I'm just at the hotel. In like
in the
lobby.
in lobby? Damn, good connection.
His family's there.
Someone is saying the leaderboard is wrong. Or did you took a first and an eighth, Pat?
That sounds right. I would have guessed from the clean and jerk I probably would have taken around like just inside of 10th, but I don't know what it was. I haven't looked. But I know the leaderboard. Somebody told me they had it messed up that I was in second in that first event. I don't know. I'm sure that they'll figure it out.
It looks fixed now.
Okay.
No, you took first in the first event by a significant margin, 25 seconds.
Yeah. I made sure to work pretty hard on like the rope climbs coming back so that I wouldn't have to race anybody at the end. It's just better. It's just better that way. It's just nice when you can kind of look at the clock and be like, "Oh, I'll just walk it in," and it's all good.
Did Medeiros get a no rep?
I don't think so.
Did you hear anyone getting a no rep?
I think Jason Smith did, and that's kind of why he got pinned out there. I think if you got one no rep, that was it for you. There wasn't a lot of extra rope climbs in the tank for anybody out there.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. That's interesting to know. That makes me feel better.
Almost everybody that came across the finish line each other and were like, those last two rope climbs were an absolute prayer.
Would you have
sent him up and barely held on?
Would you have smoked Brent in that one too?
I think it'll work out for Brent. I don't know. Maybe not. It doesn't matter. He wasn't there. So yeah, of course I would.
Why isn't Brent here? Is he okay?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's just doing whatever off-season stuff he wants to do. I think he's taking a more relaxed off-season this year than he has in the past and trying to just take care of other things. He probably has some other stuff on the go with the Professor Project, various other business ventures he's got. And I don't know. I talk to him now and then, but he hasn't. I thought he was going to not do this, forgo Rogue and do Dubai, but I think he's not doing Dubai now, which there's a lot of reasons not to this year. But I don't know. And I'm not sure what his plans are. I think he's doing some sponsor appearances for Waterloo, things like that, but I don't think he has any plans to compete at anything major.
Would you let him know that if he has some spare time and he's looking for a job, he can go to barbelljobs.com. You can see the banner there at the bottom and pick up some extra work or just whatever.
What is that?
It's just a job board.
Dare I ask?
Barbell jobs. Barbell jobs
of the Sevan Podcast.
Barbelljobs.com. It's the world's leading job board for jobs in the CrossFit industry. What's going on with Dubai? Why aren't people? What's the lack of what changed over there? The prize money?
I think it's a bit of a different dynamic this year, just given how much more money there is on the table in North America between Wodapalooza and Rogue. I think traditionally, when you look at the men's fields and the women's field has been dominated more by North America and the women's field has been dominated more internationally. So you see a strong women's field show up to Dubai because it's easier to get there than it is from North America. And if you're a North American athlete, why go all the way to Dubai when there's two major events offering even more prize money than Dubai is already in your backyard? So I think most athletes from North America are just saying, hey, like, I might as well not. I think some that are going all in and they're doing the Mayhem event and the DCC and just kind of staying down there in between. But I don't know, like I personally thought about going, but with the 5-month-old baby, it's just a lot of travel and a lot of headache. And it's a bigger investment on the front end because you got to get there, adjust to time zones, adjust to the weather. You've probably got to be there, a week in advance, and then it's less money than going into Wodapalooza and spending just the weekend and not having to do all that turnaround. So, I think there's just a few other factors at play.
I think there are a few people. I think that's true for people in a position like you, who's a likely podium contender at any of those competitions. But I think for people who can finish 8th to 15th at a Wodapalooza, and they know that a handful of guys like you aren't going to make that trip this year, that they might see it as an opportunity to place higher there and take home more money than they could with a 12th place at Wodapalooza.
I hope they do.
How are the delays?
And some of those guys are from Canada, and they're very strong. They had great lifts this evening.
Jeff?
Jeff and Alex, man, and Alexander Caron.
Yeah. Is Alex going as well? I didn't know Alex was going. I knew Jeff was going.
I'm not sure if he's going. I just know they've gone in the past, but they both lifted great tonight.
I really wish Jeff was able to just snake Guy tonight after Guy passed on his last lift.
Did you ask him why he didn't?
Why Guy didn't lift, or why?
Why Jeff didn't try to match him?
I think it's all about risk. I think he wanted to secure a second place, and he just wasn't that concerned about it. I think people are also aware that it's the first day, and you don't want to like hurt yourself trying to overreach. Like that's what Guy was doing too. He's like, well, why break my back trying to break the record when I need to compete 5 more events?
Pat, did you go for 342 because that was Justin's second lift? Yeah,
I thought he might miss his last attempt, and he almost did. But yeah,
right. Yep. I thought that was perfectly played.
Pat, what I think John was driving at is that Adler didn't have to lift at all. He had second place secured.
That's
but he
true.
Lifted.
I think he miscalculated. I talked to him a bit on the way out, and his coach was actually kind of yelling at him about it. She was saying you should have loaded like whatever. But the problem too is he could have lifted 367 to match, but he would have lost the tiebreaker. And then the way they had the fractionals, he would have had to have gone to 370. And it might have been just too big of a jump. So I don't know. I think he wanted to do another attempt, but not do anything ridiculous. And I think he might have been in second, but with a tie break with somebody, and he wasn't sure if he owned the tie break. Is that not accurate? I'm not 100% sure.
I don't think so. I think he was all alone.
Yeah, the next guys were Justin and Travis at 352, and maybe one other. And Houdet, okay. That's it.
How does that happen, Pat? Isn't there like a coach there yelling at him? Like, I don't understand how at this level those things happen. Is it because it's so intense, it's so loud out there, you have to figure it out for yourself, or you don't have optics of a leaderboard?
There's a few different strategies. I mean, some people don't like to watch everyone else lift because there's something about watching someone miss a lift that makes you a little nervous about your lift. And so some people like to just stay focused on what they're going to do, stick to their plan. I think you have to be a bit aware of what's going on so you can place yourself as well as you can. But it is hard to hear. If your judge is yelling at you from somewhere, like, good luck. You're not going to get much feedback out of that. And they did mess up the lifting order for the men.
That's what I thought.
I think Jeff was not prepared to be in a position to read the field like that because he was supposed to be lifting, like, first, I think.
And he ended up lifting last.
Yeah, so he was like just getting ready to make a plan, and he probably just stuck to the plan he had written up because he wasn't aware that he'd be in that position. We talked to the people in the dugout when they had us lined up to take the floor. I asked the head judge there, I'm like, we seem to be in the wrong order based on what the setup is. And I said, are you sure about that? Because, like, they're marked, like, he's like, you're going to lift 10 to 1. And I was like, that shouldn't be the case, or we should be assigned in different lanes, because I knew that Justin would then have to be 1 and I would have to be 2 and whatever if we were going to be lifting that order. And he sort of looked at me. He's like, what do you mean? I explained it to him, like, shit, you're right. And then but 3 people had already taken the field. So he kind of made a move up like he might do something. And he looked back down and I said, are you going to fix it? He's like, no. So I said, all right. So we just went out and did it, and then they fixed it for the women. But
they did,
yeah,
and it worked out really well for the women. Just the fact that Laura and Tia ended up being the 2 heaviest lifters right at the end.
Totally, as it should be. I mean, frankly, I was kind of like, it didn't really matter to me. I was standing next to Saxon as we lined up on the field, and we kind of looked at each other and we're like, hey, I don't mind this because I'm not going to win this event, but it means I got to lift a little bit earlier. When you're the last lifter, you're going 20 minutes without touching a barbell, and they weren't allowing you to do any warm-up lifts. So, the first lift that you made was your tie break as well. So lifting a heavier tie break was worth something. So if you've been 20, 25 minutes without touching a bar, that's actually quite a significant disadvantage to being the last lifters. So it's a big advantage in the second and third round, but it's actually a disadvantage in the first round. So anyway, I was not that shook up about it. I didn't need to know everybody's weights going into the last bar because I know I'm not going to hit 360 anyway. So it was just like, it was what it was. So I wasn't too rattled about it, but I thought it was funny. And I'm glad they fixed it for the women.
Tell me about this warm up. You're not allowed to warm. You don't touch a bar. It's 25 minutes go by before you do your lift, and you haven't touched a bar. You're out there.
I'd have to check times, but like we got called at whatever 7:26, say, I think was the call time. They lined us up, and we didn't get on the field until 7:40. And then it was a 5-minute. You had a 5-minute setup time to set your bars, and then it was 5 minutes to go from lifter 10 to lifter 1. So if you're lifter 1, you could be looking at 25-ish minutes before you do a lift. And they were told us specifically, even in the 5-minute window when you were loading, we asked like, "Yo, can I do a power clean or something like just to like stay snappy?" And they're like, "No, you can't lift any barbells at any point unless it's during your lifting window." So you just have a lot of time. So that's why like you see people open a bit conservatively sometimes, and it's not because they want to do that or they can't lift more, but it's because sometimes you got to just like get your body back awake because it's been 30 minutes.
I saw the women were putting on jackets in between rounds, in between lifts, but I didn't see the men doing that. What was the temperature out on the field? I especially saw specifically I saw Tia doing that. The second she was done lifting, she put her jacket on.
It's a weightlifting thing. I don't know. It wasn't that cold out there. Maybe it's the Canadian in me, but it was fine.
What is the temp on the field? Like 60, 65? Okay.
Probably at night. I bet you probably like low 60s.
Do you enjoy the dugout more than the corrals?
Well, we corral up outside of the stadium before, and then we walk down and re-corral in the dugout, and then we come out. So I don't know. It's kind of fun. I wish they gave us walkout music, like when you go to bat. You know,
Let me announce your name.
if I could just pick like 10 seconds of a song that they could play when I walk out, that'd be pretty cool.
What would your song be?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I'd have to think of something.
Do you have allergies in Canada?
Yeah, that or I just make everybody else pick music, and I would just go no music and walk out
Mike
to dead
Tyson.
silence.
Pat, do you
I
have?
actually get pretty bad allergies in Canada. I get like seasonal, like dust and pollen, that kind of stuff.
Is there anyone else struggling with it besides you?
Yeah, a few athletes. Chandler was really getting the shit kicked out of him today.
Damn.
And not his.
After event one, I went and got on the phone with Curtis Bowler from CrossFit, who does all the drug anti-doping policy stuff. He's our liaison to drug-free sport, and I asked him what I could take for any kind of antihistamines and things like that. I bought a couple things at the CVS, and I just sent him all the labels, and I said, "What can I take?" And he gave me a list of stuff that was okay, and so I kind of just took that stuff and shared a little bit with Chandler. Because it sucks.
Did it help?
Yeah, it helped a bit. It's still like, once you get off the field, it's not great. So we actually have access to a shower in the locker room. So I just like get off the floor and I take a shower right away.
How are the delays today between events? As a spectator, we were kind of like chomping at the bit to see more stuff. Are you guys happy with the pacing of today?
Today was a long day. There was a lot of strongman in the gaps today. So we watched some of the strongman stuff. Like some people just went home and laid down. I stayed around because my folks were there. My wife's here with the baby, and we just kind of watched the legends go. We watched the strongmen go. We kind of just kicked it for a bit. So it was fine. I mean, I think there was other stuff going on in Bender Village and stuff too, but we didn't really wander over there because sometimes it can take a little while to get out of there. But I didn't mind it. Tomorrow's going to be a little more tightly packed, I think. With 3 events, it's just going to be a little more action.
Do you have the killer instinct, Pat? Is this for you? Is this for you to win? Are you in control?
I wouldn't say I'm in control yet, but I will be.
I guess that answers the question. I really liked your talk at the end of event 1. I think it showed how confident you were. My takeaway is that you were like, "Hey, this is unfinished business between me and Justin." I mean, that was my I know that's my spin on it. But after you won, you're like, "This is."
Justin's good. He controls his destiny, though. I'll be honest, I was a little annoyed that BK and Cole weren't pulling their weight there and finishing ahead of him. So sometimes it's like I can do everything I want, but I need the guys to.
It was like eerily similar to the yoke event at the games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you tell those guys that? Do you tell those?
What the fuck are you doing? Why'd you go so slow? I saw you walking out there.
Patrick,
no, it's all good. It's been pretty fun. So everybody, and that's the thing about the Rogue Invitational too, is people. A lot of the athletes that are here are some of the mainstays that have been at the games for years, and we've all competed for a long time. And again, it feels a little more intimate, so we laugh about stuff like that all the time on the field.
Patrick, after the yoke event at the games, Brian and me had a phone call, and he cried at me for about 30 minutes why these people did not finish in front of Justin. Literally lasted 30 to 50 minutes of just him ranting for you. And I almost felt bad for you.
Nothing you knew, man. It was the same in the deadlift workout, the same in, you do what you can do. And sometimes you need the gang to, like I said, lace their shoes up tighter and start to play. But I didn't help myself out. I could have maybe lifted 10 more pounds tonight, but I think I did about as much as I could have in the clean and jerk today. So I'm not mad about it. I'll make up for it in the next couple of days.
Isn't that how the Tour de France works? Like you basically go there as a team. There's like you have your six guys or whatever on your team, and it's basically like, okay, Vellner's gonna win. The rest of you guys get in between Vellner and whoever's like your biggest threat.
Yeah.
And they basically just fuck with the other dude.
I'll just draft everybody and then spring out at the end.
Yeah, listen,
everybody else
BKG.
is the support riders.
I'm gonna give you 5% of my winnings. You have no fucking chance. Just make sure you beat Justin, you knucklehead.
I don't know about that too. Everybody's in it. Everybody's thinking they're in it, which is good. It's a fun, like 7 events is not a lot. Like there's not a lot of time to create big separation. So it'll be a tight event. I think the only real.
Did you watch Guy lift?
Yeah, kind of.
What
I
the
watched
heck?
his first lift. I didn't really watch his second lift. Actually, no, that's not true. I did. His first lift wasn't as good as his second lift.
That's like it's pretty crazy.
That kid.
It's pretty crazy how easy he makes that look relative to the field.
Yeah, I don't know what they feed that kid. He was making noise like he was going to open at 365. And I said,
he may have been able to.
He moves different than the rest of you guys. He moves different than all the women and all the men. Just in that particular like lift, he's just it's like everything's different.
His 20-year-old joints.
The levers are different, the speed, the movement. It's just, it doesn't
He's
even.
He's a beautiful lifter, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he lifts better than the Olympians.
I don't get too carried away, but he's a very good lifter. That's for sure. He's a walking fast twitch muscle, that kid, for sure. So, but could sure use some help climbing a rope, though.
Oh, yeah. Did you see that? So that's what sucks about the coverage. Like they cover the weightlifting great, but when they're covering the rope thing, they're covering you and Medeiros. But like every once in a while we get a shot of like people to the side of you, and Guy looked like a drunk spider on a web. Like he looked
all
a
lot of people did. I felt like that at times.
He looked all tangled up in his rope and shit, like his feet wouldn't grab it.
Everybody felt like that, I think, for a rep or two. I would say the biggest thing Guy made a mistake on in that workout is he didn't know when the workout ended. When you were doing the wheelbarrow on the way back, you had to stop in the last section and then run into the end zone. And he and Lazar Jukic were in a very tight race, and Guy was pushing his wheelbarrow all the way to the white end zone, and Lazar just got to the last section and dropped his wheelbarrow and just ran into the end zone and passed them. So Guy was just doing extra work, and he was in the last section before Lazar was, and had he just dropped his sled and ran in, he would have beat him. But
if he'd done that, he also would be tied with you right now.
Maybe. I don't think so. I think he would have been with the mistaken leaderboard. I think he would be 5 points back on the corrected leaderboard.
He's 5 back right now. I think they've updated it.
Oh yeah, I thought that was with.
Be tied.
But yeah, either way, that was Lazar was ahead of him. He passed him, and then you're right. He just didn't understand the finish of the workout.
Yeah, we were watching it all. A few of us at the finish line.
It was as a fan because of where you put your wheelbarrow down, and then you just nonchalantly just walked in. So as a fan, like you can't even tell where by watching you, Pat, you can't even tell where the finish line is. You're like, is he done when he puts the wheelbarrow down? Hey, this guy's in no fucking hurry.
Did it look cool?
Look, it actually looked really cool. It was seamless.
Oh, nice.
As you put the
Good.
wheelbarrow down, you didn't even stop walking. You just stepped over like that little handle thing and just kept going.
Don't look back. Well,
No, yeah,
blows
no.
and blow up and you
I
don't look
think
back.
maybe you look to the right or you think you looked one way, but that's it.
I was trying to look for the clock as I was moving the sled just to see what, because I knew the time to beat was like 9 something, early 9 minutes. And I saw it was like 7 minutes and change or something like that. So I was like, oh, you're good. Shut it down.
It's 10 p.m. there now?
Yeah.
And what time will you go to bed?
Probably soon is. I'm still trying to stomach a little more food. And we had to just put the baby down. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like when you get yourself all hyped up and lift at like 9 p.m., it takes a little bit of time to get your system down anyway. So I could lay in bed right now, but I'd just lay in bed. So I'll be up for a little longer probably.
Did you bring your baby because you don't want to be away from your baby?
It's hard to leave a 4-month-old baby to fend for itself.
But I mean, your wife could stay.
Yeah, but I want her to come here too.
Awesome.
We're gonna stay for a bit afterwards and hang around Austin and maybe go to San Antonio and chill for a bit. So I figure while she's on mat leave, our plan is to kind of take advantage of some trips like this and enjoy it, have a little bit of fun. So she's coming everywhere, baby's coming everywhere. Make it work.
I can't resist. You mean you're going to spend some time in a free country before you head home?
I don't know why people think we're not free up in Canada. I'm curious what people's perception of free is.
There's no bagged milk in Texas.
There's no what?
There's no bagged milk in Texas.
Yeah, you call yourselves free.
What's bagged milk?
It's milk you get in a bag.
I'll let you answer that.
Is there really? You guys get milk in a bag there?
Yeah.
Like wine in a box like that?
Kind of, yeah. It's more eco-friendly.
That's awesome. Patrick, thank you. I can't believe you did this. You're a good dude.
Wow, it's all good. Like I said, I was sitting around. I think I got to call my bank anyways. We got some things to do this evening.
Oh,
So,
shit.
why
Your
not?
life goes on like that?
Well, I didn't really notify anybody that I was coming to the U.S. And my bank halted my credit card. So I gotta turn that off and tell them that the charges that are coming from Austin are in fact me. So sometimes that security bites in the ass, you know?
Brian, do you have anything else you want to say to Mr. Vellner?
No, super fun to watch you today. Excited to see day 2.
What's the event
what-
you're most excited to watch tomorrow?
Definitely event 3.
I'm excited to watch event 3. I'm gonna watch the coverage right after it's done.
I hope to see a bunch of Bambi legs. I hope
me
it's
too.
great.
Me too. I hope it's just an absolute massacre. And I think it will be.
Event 5 looks pretty damn good too, man.
Which is
They did that 2 years ago.
That's the Dallas one. Okay, so here, get this. I guess the time cap is 6 minutes on that workout. Have you guys looked at the stats on that? We did this workout in 2019.
I think
40 athletes.
552, right? Something
20,
like that.
20 men, 20 women did it. Only 4 athletes finished under 6 minutes. 2 of them are not here. So that is a very aggressive time cap.
It's the complete opposite of the 30-minute time cap from event 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, why did they make Jason Smith suffer so much?
That
poor guy.
He was a little miffed about that afterwards. He's basically like, it's done. Like I'm not gonna sit here, but it's not that long of a workout. He's like, I'm not gonna sit here for 20 minutes and try to do a rope climb. Like what? Just call it. Like blow the whistle. It's over. So it's pretty funny. That was I think for the men particularly, it was a very aggressive time cap, or a very gracious time cap. I thought the rope climbs might slow the women down a little more, but they did great.
Yeah, they really did. They really did well. The top.
So, you know, I don't know. It was a very outrageously long time cap, given what we were working with, and the mule is like a stupidly short one. I think the floor setup is a little tighter than it was in 2019, but that's very fast.
You won Rogue last year? Pat, you won
Yes.
this event last year?
Yeah, when they did it online.
And how? What were the winnings last year?
You don't ask a guy how much money he makes, Sevan.
Just that one event. I can go look it up without even asking you.
You could go look it up.
Have you thought about using a neti pot?
When I was taking a shower there in between events, I just sort of like tried to sniff up as much water as I could, flush it out. I could,
Did
but I
you-
just like don't have access to a neti pot here right now, and I'm doing my best with what I got.
God, I have your life just romanticized and it's just fucking falling apart, man. You got to call your bank to unfuck your credit card. You fucking got your kid and your wife with you. You're fucking blowing your nose, eating a bowl of pilaf. Fucking like, you
Not all glitz and glam, Sevan.
no neti pot. Fuck,
You got
man,
some athletes got people carrying their bags around for them. I roll in the dirt with the peasants.
I guess.
No, it's good, man. Life's still good. Come on, I'm pretty lucky to do what I do.
Sevan, more people watching this post day one live than the other one. I don't know what you mean, but go Pat, I'm rooting for you from Jessica Pearson.
Thanks, Jessica. Hey, so what do you guys think about that time cap on the mule? Do you think people are going to be that much faster? No, women were like 7 minutes in 2019.
And they have the same time cap this year. That's 6.
From what I understand, yeah.
I
I
almost
hate it.
think they're trying to blow you guys up, like make you move faster than you can move.
I mean, I think my time was like 5:24 in 2019, so I might still be able to do it.
Yeah,
But the difference is we're doing a bunch of weighted GHDs right before.
would the game plan just be same as it was when you did it before? Like same
Same
pacing,
plan as always, man. Go unbroken and fast.
going broken and fast?
Same as every workout always. I don't know. I think people are going to go fast. I think probably you can break one round of deadlifts. I think in 2019 I broke one round of deadlifts. I think I broke the 21s and then I did the other rest unbroken. But I think the burpee pull-ups are slow.
You can't really speed that movement up anyway.
Not without high cost. But it's a short workout. So how much are you willing to burn on those? Like if you try to just burn it up on those 21, like yeah, you might gain like 3 seconds, but it'll cost you a lot, right? So I don't know.
Is your
It
coach
depends
there?
how long the transitions are. No, my wife's got my coach band this weekend.
Okay, sorry. Fast, go fast.
Yeah,
Does something
go
like
fast and
event
unbroken.
3 affect the mule?
I think event 3 is going to mess people's nervous system up. I think it's going to be the kind of workout that gives everybody Fran lung for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
Oh,
would that
shit.
not affect event 5? Is what I'm saying as far as pace goes.
Probably, maybe. It's more quads, less posterior chain. Event 5 is all posterior chain. So we haven't done much pulling. Tomorrow's going to be like all quads, all midline, and then all posterior chain in 3 workouts. So probably people will be better than you'd expect, depending on how they deadlift. I'm just going to fucking do straight-legged Romanian deadlifts and
Well, we don't all deadlift like you, Pat.
yeah, use those levers. Whereas if you do the very squatty deadlift setup, you're not going to have a good time.
Are you seeing the usual suspects in the back, like Ben Bergeron, Facundo, Max, O'Keefe, Fraser? Is there just like a spot where all those dudes, like all the coaches from the games, like those dudes are all back there? Shane
yeah,
Orr.
a lot of them around. Matt's been hanging. He was in the Vellner Village today, so he wasn't around. But I only saw O'Keefe once. But mostly all the same coaches are around. It's the same crew from the games, right? So I think you kind of get to know everybody. It doesn't change much. You pick up right where you left off a couple months ago. So
Are you being
pretty
nice?
fun.
Are you being nice to Travis Mayer?
Nice to everyone. Travis has to be nicer to me. Tell Travis to be nicer to me.
Vincent Gonzaba says he will bring you a neti pot tomorrow. Hey man, that shit better be packaged and sealed tight. We don't want Vellner using a used neti pot.
Yeah, I probably won't take too many items from strangers while I'm competing.
That you snort up your nose.
Yeah. And it's not. It's my thing. It's not a you thing.
So you go into that bullpen. They put you in a crowd, and then you go into the bullpen. And how long are you in the bullpen? Because to us as the spectators, it looks like that is the new corral. So I'm trying to figure out why would you guys ever even go into the bullpen?
I think it's just to make it like a more spectacular walkout because we have to walk from outside of the baseball diamond all the way down to the dugout. So otherwise, you'd be like announcing the athletes, and we'd be coming out like the foul ball line.
Ah, yes.
And we'd be running all the way across the diamond, and it just makes
That
it
would be
more,
where to have
a little sharper. Yeah, it's a little sharper. I don't want to run all the way across.
We had a caller today tell us, Pat, that they're no longer going to call it a bullpen. Did you know that?
I did not. I don't follow baseball, so I didn't really know they called it a bullpen anyway.
It's called a bullpen, I guess, and PETA doesn't like it because it's like derogatory towards bulls, so they want to call it an arm pen. I swear to God.
An arm pen?
An arm pen, because that's where they warm up their arms. Yeah,
Cool.
See, someone even in the comments is like, yep.
Is that a big deal?
I mean, I don't know. It's just weird.
It's not.
You don't think that's a true story, John?
If it is a true story, it's not a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
I could see it being a big deal to some people, but I think that they should work on the things that wind them up. I don't think that's worth getting too upset about.
Like your hair.
My hair is a pretty big deal, though. People can get upset if they want.
Why didn't you get a haircut? Why is that thing dangling in front of you when you're like bending over to do a clean and shit?
I'm gonna get a haircut like 3 times a year, so I don't know. It wasn't time. I probably won't get my haircut until after Christmas. So maybe we'll get one before Waterpalooza, and then I'll get one for the games, and then I'll maybe get one in I got it cleaned up a little before the wedding, so now it just doesn't matter.
Veli winning this event creates a great storyline for 2022 games. I agree that if Veli wins this, that's it.
Well, I got a lot of work to do.
No, BKG and who's the other guy have a lot of work to do. You're doing your part.
Time.
All right, brother.
I think it was good. Today was a good day. It was like you only ask so much out of strength events. I'm happy that I was good in like a fitness longer event. I think I'm where I needed to be. I'm happy because it's been like everybody coming back from their off season. It's kind of hard to know what people have been doing. So, and I know I got married and did a bunch of other stuff in the off season, and I have not exactly been dialing it up. So it's nice to see that things are still falling into place. And I don't know. Overall, I'm super happy with today. I think I kind of squeezed as much out of it as I could.
Awesome. Well, we're having a blast watching you. We'll bug you tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
I hope your nose clears up.
Usually starts okay in the morning, and then it'll get probably worse throughout the day. I feel like I'll breathe up every particle that's up there when I'm on the bike tomorrow.
I just hope you get to sleep, because if that fucker's all clogged up, how are you going to sleep?
I'll probably snore. How's my wife going to sleep is the question.
Details. And